Yo, what up? Welcome to another episode of the Double Down, the inaugural episode. We're going to get right into it, man. We got a big weekend of sports. That's the best time of the year for sports right now. You got like NBA's in full swing, NFL's in the playoffs, and all the other sports you don't care about, like hockey, baseball, and anything not NBA and football related, they're not happening, so nobody cares. It's great. But getting right to it, man. NFL, biggest thing going on this week. Aaron Rodgers, right, makes all the hoopla about getting vaccinated. He lied about the vaccine. Like, you could have just got a fake card like Antonio Brown and danced your way off the field. But no, this dude told people he was vaccinated. And then they were like, dude, you said you're vaccinated. He's like, our bad, bro. And then he didn't even get in trouble. And then he comes out in the playoffs and he sucks. Like, you can get away with not being vaccinated, but when you're unvaccinated and you suck, like, that's where you draw the line, people are like, dude. Because you can get away with anything as long as you win. It was cool in the regular season. He was out there, MVP candidate. His team was winning all the games. And then he gets to the playoff. Now they're like, yeah, dude, you put up 10 points. You don't have the vaccine. This is what happens. Like, you just set your whole argument back by losing as bad as you did. They could have been talking about him like, we have an unvaccinated Super Bowl winner. You can do it. But not this dude. Now he's just out there sucking. The Cowboys, we're in Texas, so we got to talk about the Cowboys. I just want to point out, the Cowboys are like, they're just always going to lose. You know, like you have that friend that just loses at everything they do. Like no matter how good it looks, they can just find a way to fuck it up. That is the Cowboys. They have all the money in the world, all the talent in the world, and they can't win a playoff game. It's going to be their owner. Their owner, Jerry Jones. When you have a shitty owner, it's like having a shitty parent. You can be as cool of a kid as you want, but if your parents are shitty, you're going to be like, fuck, everything I do is just tainted in my parents' shit. And Jerry Jones is the shitty parent to the Dallas Cowboys. They will be losers as long as he's around. They are like the father that makes your child a loser. Jerry Jones is that father, and the Cowboys are the loser son. Just finding a way to fuck up the best things. They just can't help themselves. The Bungles won. They're not even the Bungles anymore. How do you sack a quarterback 9 times and still lose the game? The Titans are the new Bengals, is what they are. You sacked a quarterback 9 times. 9 times! That's 9 times. There's only 4 quarters. You're sacking them. That's like every drive you're getting a quarterback sack. There's no way you should lose a game where you sack the quarterback 9 times. That is ineptitude. The Tennessee Titans are the new Cincinnati Bengals. That's what they did. A lot of fucking up going on in the NFL. Tom Brady, as we speak right now, is down. He's down by 17 at halftime, but I'm not believing it. Right now, if I had to bet, I'd probably still bet on Tom Brady to win this game. That dude is like Michael Myers. He never dies. He's like a cockroach in Texas. The dude bounces back to life. Like you think you stomped on him, you come back outside, the dude is gone, and you find him under your pillow. Like that is Tom Brady. The dude, I don't know how he does it, but I'm looking at the score. It's 20-3, and if I'm a Rams fan, I'm terrified right now. It's like you looked out and you're just like, you saw Michael Myers and you stabbed him with a pitchfork. You're like, he's dead. You guys buried him, but you guys didn't happen to burn the body and watch it burn. And you're like, I thought there was supposed to be a pile of ash here. Where the fuck is the pile? And there comes Michael Myers, Tom Brady in that mask. I would be shocked. I would be shocked right now if the Buccaneers don't come back and win this game. At 23, down at half, I would be shocked if the Rams won this game by more than 10 points. If the Rams do win this game, it is going to be a battle. This is why I want Tom Brady to lose. You know, like that kid, you know that person that has everything? You're like, why is this guy 6'5", attractive, gets the girl and wins everything and his family comes from money? Like, this is Tom Brady. I'm not even a hater. I just think he was gifted too many Super Bowls. Like the Seahawks gifted him one. The Atlanta Falcons were down by 28 points in the fourth quarter. If you're down by 28 and you lose the game, you lost the game. You blew it. You choked. And it always seems to happen to Tom Brady. I get it. You're lucky. You're good. You're great. But one time, I just want the other. It's like in a movie, when the villain, he always has his henchmen, and they're just always inept. Like, no matter, there's like a million of them, and the one good guy just beats them all up every single time. I feel like that's who Tom Brady is when he plays the NFL. He's up by 20, and these goons like somehow just can't keep a lead. They just get beat down, and the good guy wins. Like, I'm over it. I just want to see somebody else win in the Super Bowl, preferably a black quarterback. Huh? Shout out to those guys. I have two fans in the NFL: the Denver Broncos and any team with a black quarterback. Those are the two fans of teams I am. Shout out to Kyler Murray. I don't know what happened, Kyler, but, bounce back, try it again next season. Yeah, we'll see. But shout out to all the black quarterbacks in the league. We got one coming up, Pat Mahomes. Still keeping our fingers crossed for that guy. The Chiefs started out 0-4. You know how improbable it is that they make it to this point? Everyone was writing them off. They're like, oh, they're terrible. Everyone figured out Pat Mahomes. And all I did was sit here and listen to this black quarterback slander. But now, this is the moment, because Josh Allen is like the up-and-coming quarterback, right? Josh Allen, by the way, shout out to that guy. Because that dude, if there's a more improbable quarterback success story than Josh Allen, I've never heard of it. This dude, he is the equivalent of in like a Not Another Teen movie when they take off the glasses from the girl and she turns out to be hot. Josh Allen is that quarterback that they had to make over. He came into the league and it was ugly. And they're like, this dude is terrible. But somebody sat there and took off Josh Allen's glasses and put some makeup on him. And this dude is actually out here playing. All that said, I still want him to lose to the black quarterback. I can't get over it. After what they did to my boy Warren Moon. If you don't know the Warren Moon story, look it up. They said he couldn't play in the NFL because he was black. Set all these records in Canada for like 10 years. Came back to the NFL. He was almost 40 years old and balled out. That's the kind of shit that I hold it down for. So let's go Patty Mahomes. It's going to be a battle, but I still think when we're talking again next week, the Chiefs win, which, by the way, the Chiefs, like a lot of teams named after Native Americans have gotten a lot of trouble. Like the Washington football team had to go by the Washington football team for a whole season after they had so much slander about their name. The Cleveland, they used to be the Indians. They changed their name to some sort of bootleg name now. It's like the Cleveland, what are they now? Look at the Cleveland baseball team. There's a Cleveland baseball team now. They just changed their name. They're like like Avengers or something like that. Like some bootleg ass name. But all this time, this has all been going on. Kansas City Chiefs just sliding right underneath the radar. Nobody said anything about the Chiefs. I don't know if they ever will, but name aside, black quarterbacks are in. So that's who we want to win there. On a side note, last night, UFC fight, Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gane. Great fight. It was a pretty good fight. But the craziest part that I want to talk about this fight is after the fight, Joe Rogan goes into the ring and he talks to the winner, Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou is about 6'4", 260 pounds of just pure muscle, just brawn chiseled out of stone. And he was wearing these knee pads. And Joe Rogan asks him about the knee pads. And the dude says that he tore his MCL 3 weeks ago. What? He tore his MCL 3 weeks ago, and you are fighting 5 rounds in the UFC championship. His MCL is like, yeah, my PCL, all this stuff, but I just wanted to show people I was tough. I was like, what? Standing up after that is tough. Fighting a fight is fucking crazy. You are a maniac of a human being. And not only fighting, but fighting enough to win? With a torn MCL? Who are you? Yeah, UFC people are not the same as me and you. They're not regular people. Like, I looked at these two guys in the ring, and I realized that the average person takes one punch from that guy, and he probably wakes up like next Tuesday. Like, what just happened to me? And to be able to step into a ring with somebody else that can just end you. Because, like, when smaller guys fight, they can clip each other and it's fast-paced moving, but there's not the power. Like, those big dudes, just a little bit of your hand, and it's done. This dude has a torn MCL, and he's still out here fighting and winning, and that's outlandish. So shout out to Francis Ngannou. also another African, which UFC, main divisions, heavyweight, welterweight, all the champions are like from different countries, but they're African descent, which I support. I think it's about time. No wonder like white people are getting nervous making up all these new sports. Because Africans and black people are going to take over every sport. Where should black people go next? What sport should we conquer? Hockey? Is that? Nah, that's cold as fuck. You'll never convince black people to play hockey and be like, get in the cold. I am not going to play this shit. You know, like we just never, that's not a hockey thing. Yeah, so shout out to that. That's a trip, man. That is a trip. So we move on to my favorite league, of course, the Association. Love the Association. A lot going on in the league. This is the dog days of the NBA. You play games back to back every night, which is kind of like a trip. Like, a lot of people can't make it to go to the gym. Like, if I go to the gym like 3 times in a week, I'm like, whew, this is a good week for me. I went in there 45, half hour. I'm like, whew, I'm a god. Like, these dudes go out there and play like 4 games in 5 days. And then if you're tired and you suck once, someone's watching out. Oh, this guy's garbage. Get him out of here. Dude's just been there fucking just killing himself. And I understand it. Like, the players get paid and all, but it's a lot. But that's what happens at this time in the league. But you start seeing a couple of trends going on. Things I want to talk about. White guys in the NBA who can't shoot. There's this, I don't know what it is. Basketball is the only place where I will accept reverse racism as a real thing. If you're a white guy in the NBA, everyone just assumes you can shoot. That is the baseline. They're like, he's open in the corner, shoot the ball, you're white, that's what you do. But there's a new influx of white guys in the NBA that aren't tall, that can't shoot. And that's my favorite part about the NBA is this in the season. Guys like Alex Caruso. This dude, if I've ever seen anybody who snaked his way to the bag more than Alex Caruso, I don't know. I've never met such a person. This dude, what is he, like 6'2", 6'1"? He's a white guy. He can't shoot the ball. Nobody knows exactly what he does, but he just got paid an $80 million contract. The dude was balding at like 24. He got caught smoking weed in Texas. He averages like 4 points a game. It's the best come up. I mean, if I was a white guy everywhere, I'm out there like, this is the people's champ. He is the Paul Wall of the NBA. Like, you can't. I've never met somebody on the come up like that. And he's making other people emboldened. Guys like TJ McConnell, guys like Jake Layman, just a bunch of, his name is even Layman. How more plain can you get unless your name is Layman? But it's like the NBA is just like, hey, we need to fill a quota for random white guys. We just need a couple. Do they have to be good? Not particularly. They just have to be bodies, preferably attractive, unless it's Alex Caruso. We don't know what happened to that dude. Bald Mamba. So shout out to that dude. If you're like in the NBA and like, they don't trust me because I'm white. Yes, that's 100% true. So that's my new favorite thing. I don't know where they came from, but they're here. They're out and about. So no more excuses. Every time I'm at the court and I see some white guys making some excuses, no more of that. Grayson Allen. That's a name we haven't heard in a while. Grayson Allen. He just got ejected out of a game for some dirty. He tackled a guy in midair. I don't know if he thought he was playing football, but yeah, you can't do that. And the dude has been, when he was in college, he was a dirty player. He's kicking people in the nuts. Like, a lot of people do dirty shit when you play sports, and it's always random white dudes. Like, when I was in high school, one of the guys on my team, he got kicked out because during free throws, instead of regularly boxing out, he would put his thumb in the guy's butt. And then when the guy would, like, squeeze his cheeks, then he'd get good position. And one time, the ref caught him. And can you imagine getting kicked out of a game? You got to explain to your coach what happened. Yeah, no, the ref got me sticking my thumb up his ass, coach. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm out of the game. So, yeah, that's like a Grayson Allen move right there. And so, yeah, he kind of deserves it. I don't feel bad for him at all. That's what happens. Moving on. My favorite haircut of the week. If you don't know who it is, Kenrich Williams. Look him up. In the association, this guy, I'm a big fan of haircuts. As you can tell by mine, got the high top. We keep it classic. My boy Jesse rocks a pretty clean Dallas shag. His mullet game is strong out here in Texas. Kenrich Williams, he has the Dallas shag. If you don't know what a Dallas shag is, Google it. In the 70s and 80s, it's like a mullet with a poof in the back. I don't even know how to describe it. It's the craziest haircut I've ever seen because the way that it shapes the hair looks wild. But Kenrich Williams, shout out to him. You get the haircut of the week. NBA players, best haircuts. I feel like the NBA is the best league to play in. Mostly because people can see your face. There's only 5 of you guys. You don't have to worry about helmets. It's like you can haul out hoes in the stand when you're playing in the NBA, Like, if you played in the NFL, you take off your jersey, your helmet. Nobody knows. You're just like a short, buff guy. Someone's like, you look like you got Napoleon syndrome. We don't know what you do. But like, if you're in the NBA, everyone knows you're in the NBA. They saw your face all game. They saw your face on TV. They see you in the club, and you're 6'12". They're like, this dude is a giant. Oh my gosh, you're in the NBA. You don't even have to say. They know. That's why it's the best league. That's why rappers are always trying to be in the NBA. Speaking of that, Drake, what are you doing? What is Drake doing? He's still in the NBA, still sitting on the sidelines, pretending to play. In fact, anytime I see like an athlete or any team that's Drake supported, I just assume they're gonna lose. It's like the curse of Drake. It's like the Madden curse. When you're on the cover of the video game, it's the Drake curse in sports. If Drake supports your squad, you're probably gonna lose. Except for Francis Ngannou. He came out to a Drake fight last night, a Drake song, and he won the fight. So maybe he's moving on up. Maybe it's a backwards world. One of the topics that I did want to bring up is if you keep up with the news or crypto, you're noticing that Bitcoin is in the gutter. I mean, it's dropped down to 33,000, which in summer about 6 months ago was at $60,000. My whole thing is, if you're an athlete, and because there's all those athletes, and they're like, it's good business to get paid in Bitcoin. And now are they like, hey, remember that Bitcoin you wanted to pay me in? Nah, give me straight cash, homie. I want my money back in cash. Because you lose out a lot of value. Unless you're hoping the market's going back up. But right now, yeah, Bitcoin dropped to $35,000. So that means when it was at $60,000, you've lost almost 50% of the value of your paycheck by Bitcoin dropping like that. It's a bold strategy. I'm wondering if they changed it. I'm wondering if those guys called their coaches and their managers, hey, pay me cash. I need my money. I don't know. But I'm wondering. There's no one out there talking about how good of business decisions they're making now. But keep it in the association. A topic I feel very strongly about. We got to stop with the Nikola Jokic slander. I've heard enough. Joel Embiid is the best big in the league. Stop it. Nikola Jokic, I understand that he looks like what's Chunk from the Goonies grew up and started playing basketball, and no one knows how it works. But if you want to talk about reverse racism in basketball, there's no better place to start with Nikola Jokic. Because he doesn't look like he can play basketball. He looks like he's should be kissing his children in the mouth like Tom Brady's family or something like that. But no, he looks like Chunk from the Goonies. I don't understand how he even knows what a basketball is. He grew up on a farm in Serbia. Makes zero sense. Dude is out there riding and breaking horses. Someone's like, hey, dude, you're a fucking giant. Play basketball. All of a sudden, he happens to have the footwork of a ballerina. He can't jump. He can't run particularly. He's not particularly quick. There's nothing about this dude that makes you think to yourself, this guy's going to be a good basketball player. And then because of that, people don't even want to give him the credit when he is good. They're like, this guy, you look like you should be you look like you should be working at some sort of farm. Like you should be herding some sheep or milking some cows. I don't know how you get buckets, but he does. And the numbers he puts up by any metric of any evaluation of an individual athlete on a basketball court is ridiculous. And you take that with him being the one and only reason that the Denver Nuggets are even above 500. The slander needs to stop. Joel Embiid, he's not better than Nikola Jokic. No one is better than Nikola Jokic is playing right now in the association. The only player, well, there's a lot of worse players. Russell Westbrook. How do you get worse so fast? Like, you went from putting up a triple-double in a season to now you're putting up, like, triple singles, like Draymond Green numbers. I would be shocked if Russell Westbrook is not traded before the deadline. He is. I would just be shocked. So, we're moving forward here. Talk about some things coming up. You said we're past the 15?
You're at 21.
Oh, perfect. I got to get my Gatorade drink in here. I got this for free from me and a friend went to the corner store, and I don't know if you know this, but there's two things I love. Powerade. I'm a big fan of Powerade. Some people drink Gatorade. You got to drink Powerade. Don't ask me why. Powerade is just better. Purple if they have it. And I was explaining this to the woman at the corner store, and she laughed and gave me a Gatorade bottle instead for free. So now I got this Gatorade bottle I drink Powerade out of because that's the type of person I am. But going into it, so what we're looking at here in the NFL playoffs, I feel like based off of what you're seeing, if Tom Brady makes it to the Super Bowl, I don't think there's a way that he can lose. He's just like he's like Michael Jordan in Space Jam. They're just, he's gonna win. You're just waiting for it. But I think if he doesn't make it, then the winner is going to be from the AFC. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, they're just too good. So that's what I'm looking forward to coming up. Seeing it, I think it's going to be a Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl. At the end of the day, I think Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, they're just better than Josh Allen and the Bills. And that's going to be the Rams. Yes, the Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl. You heard it here first. Look forward for that. And you can thank me later if you're a betting person. And if your bet loses, this is not financial advice. I don't know if you know this. This is not financial advice. So, yeah. But I'm telling you, this is what it's going to be. This is just, it's not my fault if it's not. Just remember that. OBJ's playing back for the Rams. It's crazy that when you actually play for a good team versus a team that sucks, even if you're like a good player, like OBJ scored 6 touchdowns in like 20-something games for like 30 games or whatever for the Browns in like 2 seasons. He scored 6 touchdowns in 9 games with the Rams. That's what happens when you live in a city like Cleveland. Everything you do, Cleveland sucks. And this year, the NBA All-Star weekend is in Cleveland. Now, the NBA has the best All-Star weekend of any sports team because a bunch of athletes come out, all the rappers come out, everybody comes out, and it's a big party in a city. Unless that city is Cleveland. Then there is no party. Can you imagine you made it to your first All-Star, you're so excited to be recognized, and you have to go spend the weekend in Cleveland? It's like last year was in Atlanta, they've had it in like LA. Not Cleveland, dude. It's cold as fucking Cleveland right now. I have to go to a wedding in Michigan in February. I am going to be there for exactly 24 hours, not a minute more. I am going to get off the plane, straight to the wedding, get out of the wedding, straight back on the plane. What the fuck do you do in the Midwest in that temperature? And you're trying to tell me All-Star Weekend should be in Cleveland. They don't even have a LeBron James in Cleveland anymore. What the fuck is in Cleveland? It is the worst. Can you imagine if they did that to the Super Bowl? Like, you're like, oh, I'm going to the Super Bowl this year. It's in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Get the fuck out of here. It's a terrible idea. And whoever decided that it should go to Cleveland needs to, they need to take that back. So, shout out to the NBA All-Star Weekend, but going to Cleveland, it's unfortunate. But I would say, if I do get to spend any time ever in a sports All-Star League weekend, it's definitely got to be the NBA. That's the one you want to go to. That's where the most fun is. And I just, the rest of it just seems, no other sports put on a really good All-Star weekend. And I guess hockey is still a sport, but Is it, ever since the lockdowns, nobody cares. And hockey, I will say though, they handled the things a lot better than they had all these cases. They just shut the league down for like 3 weeks. They're just like, fuck yeah, COVID's blowing up. We're gonna shut the league down. The NFL got so many positive tests. They're just like, let's just stop testing. That's the beauty of the NFL, because at the end of the day, they are the biggest for-profit league. And if you don't know this about the NFL is actually considered a non-profit 501c charitable organization. So that's how they can get all that money for building stadiums, because they're a charitable non-profit organization, the NFL. The same organization that pays its commissioner $40 million a year to take all the heat for the bullshit the owners do is a non-profit organization. That is beautiful. And their revenues keep going up. You could buy an NFL team for like $500 million in the 80s. Now it's going to cost you billions in the B's to buy even the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland have never won anything, can't make it to the playoffs. Browns. That is why the NFL is what it is. They are a juggernaut. In fact, if you look at like the most, probably 10 or so highest, most watched broadcasts in the U.S. this year, I believe the top 10 is all NFL related, and I think 90 of the top 100 is NFL related. So when it comes to sports, the NFL is still the GOAT. They are still the money, and they're still a not-for-profit organization. So just keep that in mind next time you think those players and athletes are making too much. It's non-profit, guys. All right? They're a charitable organization that does this from the caring bottom of their hearts. So we've come to that time. Feel free to reach out with any questions, comments, concerns, topics you want to hear my opinion on, or different things that we think we should bring up, or anyone that you want to add to my favorite part, the Reggie Cleveland All-Stars. If you don't know what Reggie Cleveland All-Stars is, Reggie Cleveland was a baseball player in the 80s that was white, which makes me laugh because his name was Reggie Cleveland. So next time you meet a white guy named Reggie or a white guy named Dante, let me know so I can add him to the club. This week's winner goes to White Dante DiVincenzo. Shout out to White Dante. Because any white guys named Dante spelled with an O-N-T, like you're from the hood, I support White Dante. He probably freestyles. White Dante. He's probably rolled a blunt. He probably crip walk. That dude could probably, he's probably crip walk like a champion for a minute. So shout out to White Dante, the addition of this week's Reggie Cleveland All-Stars. And then before we leave, one last thing. My man, Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe used to play in Denver. Great tight end. He's on the show, Fox Sports, with Skip Bayless. Big fan of talking about the Lakers. But he doesn't talk about the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns are the best team in the NBA right now. And nobody cares because they're in Phoenix, and no one should. But one of the Phoenix announcers decided to call out Shannon Sharpe and tell him to pay attention to the Suns. And I was like, well, I'll look up the Suns. Because if you're going to start an internet beef with someone a lot more famous than you and call him out, it's okay. Maybe you have a case. And you do, if your team's the best team in the league, record-wise. But honestly, everybody knows that even if they have the best record now, they're not winning anything. It's like when you went to prom and there was one girl that had a glow up over summer and she came back and you're like, whoa. But everyone knew who the hottest girl was, regardless of the glow up. There's just everyone knew who already had it on lock. And the Phoenix Suns, that's not you. Winning isn't for everybody. I don't think Phoenix is gonna win. So do they deserve to be talked about? 3 more minutes. Yeah, 30. What's up? 30. I'm at 30? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So the Phoenix Suns, nobody cares. You're a good team, but you're not winning the NBA title, not with that roster. So any internet beef that you're going to start, please try doing it. Make it about Russell Westbrook. That'll get you talked about and give you more heat on these streets. Guys, this has been the Double Down, where I make ridiculous sports takes, and I double down on it next time you call me out. I've had fun. I hope y'all had fun. Come check us out. Peace.